SegaCrew! Hello everyone, it's me again, Jimmy Diamonds, back once again on the SegaCrew channel here at SEGATHON 5. 5 years. 5 years. What ridiculousness is this? I have with me today the Antipodean Nightmare, Squilibob. Squilibob, how you doing, pal?
I'm doing very well, and thank you for commentating with me.
Oh, never a problem at all. Never a problem at all. We do love this game a lot. It is certainly an underrated gem. This is Tails' Adventure for the Sega Game Gear. It is also a fan-made GG to SMS hack called Tails Adventure DX. So you can play it on Mega Drive hardware, or you can play it on a Mega SG as Squilibob is currently doing. So we're going to be speedrunning this game glitchless. There's a few exploits, not glitches, because glitches is cheating. Lamo.
Not glitches.
But Squilibob is going to hopefully tear through this game nice and fast. You said just before we went live, Squilibob, that you have only been playing this game for about a month and a half or so?
That's correct, yes.
So what made you take it up?
Well, I saw Mendez's run in the Tails 30th anniversary stream on GDQ's channel last year, and just looking at the speed tech in this category, it really appealed to me. Like, the other category, Glitched, has an item called the Spark. When you're underwater, it flashes the screen. And I thought, no, I can't run this game. That's going to be too light sensitive for other people's. But this category doesn't have that.
Yeah, myself, Mendez, and Cyprian, we spent a little bit of time, about a year or so, a bit more than a year ago, really kind of going through this game in a glitchless sense and knuckling down the route so that we only need to collect about half of the normally collectible items, because it is a Metroidvania, and the Metroidvania items that you pick up allow you to get access to different places, etc. But we have skipped a lot, and it has saved quite a lot of time. So we're going to be looking at about a 45-minute run if things go well. There are certain things that can go wrong, certain things that are maybe a little bit scarier than others that need a bit more backup, but it's a fun, slow-paced but pretty intense speed run, and it's adorable. It's hugely adorable, and it's got ducks and it's got Tails throwing napalm. Yes, you heard that right. An 8-year-old fox, technically younger than 8 because this is before he met Sonic this game, so he's like 6 or 7, so that's hilarious. Throwing napalm and bombs. So he's going to burn your house down with the lemons, as the meme video goes. Squilibob, do you think that you are ready?
I am ready when you are.
Check in the background, do you think that you are ready? There's no answer, so I'm assuming that they are ready. Chat, do you think you are ready? I heard you, Paul, I hear you. You are ready, good. Chat, are you ready? Are you ready? I don't think you're ready for this. So, Squilibob, without further ado, in 3, 2, 1, let's start this bad boy.
Okay, let's see if I can get past the main bad guy, which is this map screen.
Right. So Tails is here in the currently burning Polo Forest. Yes, there is an attempted destruction of natural environments in this game. That's not political in the slightest. You'll see that Squilibob is currently flying with Tails, and it seems like Tails is getting a bit too tired and then falling and then starting to fly again. This isn't a glitch, because again, glitches is cheating. This is an exploit, where if you cancel your flight and then re-establish your flight before you actually hit the ground, you can continually fly. You don't, and so that's definitely not a glitch. Definitely not a glitch. So he's using some relatively precise movements and damage boosting to get through some enemies nice and quick, accidentally bonking against the ceiling. Tails has a very, very generous ledge grab, so it doesn't matter if you are precisely on the ledge. You can be a little bit below, a little bit forward, a little ahead. It wouldn't matter. You'll be able to grab the ledge and get up to the next platform, which we're going to use in a second to be able to get through what is a pretty big barrier for lots of people playing this game casually, because this section you're meant to jump and grab the ledge. Lots of people try and fly, and there's a wind current there which stops you from flying, and people go, oh, what the hell am I meant to do? And yeah, it's one of those silly things. Good management of the enemy patterns there to make sure that that duck gets faced to the right so he doesn't shoot you, and you know, of course, you big drop there. Yeah, the problem with this game, because it is a Game Gear game, it only polls inputs basically every other frame, so it sometimes likes eating inputs, and there's a lot of lag.
Why do we speedrun Game Gear games for, you and I? Why are we masochists like this for?
Yeah, joys of playing games like Tempo Junior, right?
Yes.
Yeah, that's all fun and games. Just silly decisions of the developers. But oh well. So as we can see, we are on the next screen. We're about to see the first boss in the game, and that's going to require, I believe it's 10 bombs being thrown, but we're going to need to see some damage boost because the boss is basically unavoidable. So you are going to take some damage. Big jump there. There's a change in the trajectory of Tails' bombs depending on when you are throwing them. So if you're throwing the bomb when you're on an upwards trajectory of your jump, you will throw the bomb in an arc. However, if you are in a downwards trajectory of your jump, you throw it underarm. So it really is, you have to be careful with where you are throwing your bombs. We've picked up the remote robot. The remote robot is fundamentally broken in this game. We won't be seeing it for too many glitches, but we will be seeing it for a couple of sneaky things as we going on. You also have to be very careful with the remote robot. We'll show you how that will work in a second. So some
Remember it's glitchless.
So I didn't catch that, squilibob.
Oh, sorry, I said remember that it's glitchless, so...
It is glitchless, so it's not a glitch. Again, a little bit more damage boosting. You'll see in the top left corner that Tails has some rings, 13 rings left over. That's unlucky for some, but not unlucky for Tails because he'll continue having some for a little while longer. The rings are your life. If you lose all your life, then you die. But he's also taking some damage boost through the lava there, so he doesn't actually die because the lava does quite a lot of damage. And here comes the remote robot. He's going to trigger the remote robot, and it can go through these small paths using a little corner clip there to jump up a little bit higher. And the remote robot can also fly, which is very useful for obtaining items that Tails can't normally reach. You have to be very careful with the remote robot, though, because if you call the remote robot back too quickly, as he's doing here, then it can really screw the game up and cause a lot of glitches. And again, as we have said multiple times, glitches is...
prohibited.
Exactly. Glitches is cheating, nonetheless. But the remote bomb that's been picked up by the remote robot allows the bomb to have a little bit of travel, and you can trigger its explosion as well. So that's quite useful for going through certain tunnels that you can't normally reach. And you'll see that squilibob will mainly be using the remote bombs going forward from here, because even though they don't have the same arc, they don't often have the same arc as a standard bomb, it just works a little bit easier.
Oops.
Trying to avoid taking
the chance of bomb is very it can save a lot of time. Most of the time you do want the remote bomb. There is occasions where you want to change back to that first bomb because it ends up saving a heap of time.
It's all about small optimizations with the movement and the menuing, because every time you go into a menu,
you have time loss rather than time gain. You just sort of have to optimize things.
You have to be. Oh, be careful here, chum. Goodness me. You have to be very careful with your movement because your menuing. Excuse me, because if you go into the menu, that's like a couple of seconds lost immediately every time that you go into the menu. So we now picked up a Chaos Emerald. The Chaos Emeralds increase two things. It increases your ring count, so your health. It also increases the amount of time that you can fly without having to trigger the flight exploit. Not a glitch again. Not a glitch. The bombs can be a little bit finicky sometimes because you can see that there are some destructible blocks. The bombs like destroying those blocks, but they don't do it consistently. Sometimes at times it can destroy 1, 2, 3, 4, sometimes even 5 if you're lucky, and hopefully we'll get that a little bit later as we're going forward. So we're now onto a little stretch here. These enemies will throw something at you, but you can just run and then damage boost through in the end. And we'll go up these little chutes as well. You have to be careful with some of these enemies here because you're going to see one throwing some bricks at you in a second. Bricks, of course, are bad for your health and bad for your teeth. Now that one there hits squilibob, and you can see there's an item there. We can't get that yet. That is important. We'll see that a little bit later. Another wind current blowing Tails upwards, and he's going to throw the remote bomb to blow this little bit of ground before he goes up, which is good. Squilibob's going to need to hold right as soon as he enters this screen to avoid getting hit by that enemy's bricks that he's throwing at him, because why would enemies throw bricks at you? Such a mean thing to do. What a bunch of arseholes. And there's, again, a little bit of the wind mechanics there to keep Tails going. Change into the bombs so they drop a little bit better.
I might start explaining the boss coming up here. So the boss that we're about to fight is the son of the main bad guy of the game. And we can manipulate him. It's recently been discovered. So there's 2 determining factors on how this boss works. When he spirals down from the top of the screen, he'll be in one of 2 states. He'll be in either a left pattern or a right pattern. It also depends on Tails' X and Y position. So when we see him dive down for the first time, he'll be on my left or my right, and that will tell me which pattern he's in. So hopefully if I do this right, we won't get hit because getting hit here wastes a lot of time.
Oh,
Okay,
yeah.
so we're going to fly up, and then he's going to taunt us. The music will change. And now, which way is he going to go? On the right. So when he's in the right pattern, we need to stay on the right-hand side, just 3 blocks across. So where I am right now. And if I don't move, he'll stay on that pattern. So it seems like we're in the right spot here. We just need to move a little bit here. Okay, so now we're not in the pattern at all. Just got to wing it from here. But we should be able to manipulate his movement from this point forward. If we stay on the left-hand side of the screen, move now. And then just stay on the left just as he spirals down. He should be in the wall here. He is. And then we haven't been hit yet. Oh, we've been hit just the once. We speed all the way to the top. When you get to the top, if he's on the screen, then the cutscene might play. So did we get a skip? We did not get the skip. Okay, so we got through with only 1 hit. But it's a lot faster now with that manipulation.
Yeah, previously that was just sheer luck and hoping for the best, but squilibob, the legitimate genius he is, has discovered that that can be manipulated. Thank heavens. Still requires execution, as most of these things do. And to answer your question, Hypnotics, we get Cotswold Stone here in Oxfordshire, which makes it basically 90% of our bricks. We are very famous for our stone. We have a load of quarries around here, so nah. And yes, wing it. Great pun. We love it. We're on Lake Rocky. The Sea Fox is here. Hello, Sea Fox. You get to drive through bricks, and you also can shoot things, because we've also picked up we haven't picked up anything for the shoot things yet, have we? But we have to destroy these mines as they're going forward. Destroying the mines is useful, because it stops you from taking damage, but also the more bullets you have on the screen, the more lag there is, and a lot of this game is about lag management. Oh my god, it's about lag management, because it's a Game Gear game. It's not the strongest of hardware, and this game is trying to do a lot. It is trying to do far more than a lot of Game Gear games is doing. So yeah, we have to be quite careful with this.
Yeah, and this remote robot turned into the Sea Fox, so it's sort of the most important item in the game.
Yeah, and the Sea Fox allows us to navigate to further parts of the islands, plural. And so we've got basically just drive forward. There's a button to turn yourself around. I love that. It doesn't really do much, but because you can move back.
Oh, actually, I'll tell you later on about this, but it actually helps with going down when you mine through some destructible bricks. It changes the hitbox, so it actually does help in one spot.
You learn something new every day.
Yeah. Like, most of the routing of this game has been done by Amber Cypher, Mendez, and yourself, so I've only just sort of looked for little optimizations here and there. I haven't had to route this game at all.
But you have certainly taken on a time significantly lower than we've been able to, so well done. You show off.
Most of the time save is coming from the remote robot, so it really is very important to the run. Yeah. So I'm trying to damage down right now, so there are bombs that drop out of these chutes in the ceiling, and regardless of whether they hit you or they land on the lake bed floor, they'll damage you. So we're going this way first. We don't actually have the item to get through the stage, but I want to take all this damage because we're going to a cavern. We're going to an island where we want to death warp out of it because it's a dead end. So I'm down to 11. That's a little high, but we're in the middle of a marathon, so we're trying to, conserve. We don't want to die too early. It's rather to waste some time taking extra hits when we need to, rather than die early.
Exactly.
Do I have the right item here?
Yeah, Rocky.
I'm lost, I think. Yeah, I'm lost. I've gone the wrong way.
We said that on the boosters run a little bit earlier. A lot of these games, it's not just about the execution; it's about the memorization. And because these games are relatively open, the way you can go, and there's not really a huge amount blocking your way until you kind of hit a wall, for lack of a better term. It's quite easy to get into a place where, am I meant to be here? Maybe not. Maybe I've gone the wrong way. Okay, and getting out can be a bit more of a challenge. But there's nothing that we can't handle. Squilibob, we're just going to go carry on. A nice.
We actually haven't wasted any time. We had to go this way anyway.
Fair enough.
Just gone out of order. Okay, so I have to revisit the area I just went to. I'll probably heal after this, actually, because, it's marathon. I won't be able to do one of my death warps now because I haven't damaged down enough. Yeah, I was practicing just before this run started, and I went up here. So I had it in my mind I had to go that way. That's okay. It's not the first time this has happened in a marathon, and Mendez has done that as well.
Oh, this has never happened before. Lies. Too many lies. There we go.
So when you visit Tails' house, you get a full heal. So sometimes we don't want to go to Tails' house. We do want to conserve our health so we can do a death warp. I want to fly here. This cavern's full of enemies, so it's one of the laggiest parts of the game. There's also this water that pushes you in one direction. The current will push you away. You can't go the other way. But there are ways of circumventing that. You can get damaged and fall down, and that has priority over the currents in the water. I want to choose my bombs carefully here as well. The item we're going to get here first, there are 3 items. This is the only item in the game where you don't want to recall the robot. You actually want the robot to fall down, because falling is faster than actually recalling the robot. The robot moves at the same speed, doesn't matter which direction it's going. So we want to use gravity to make sure that robot moves faster down.
Gravity, what a force.
Okay, so here is this mine. We can't jump up here as Tails, but we can send the robot. Also coming up in the room that I dread, this I call the Bat Cave.
Oh yeah, it's not the nicest of places.
We'll know why Bruce Wayne is scared of bats in a second. So yeah, that's where the only point in the run where we don't recall the robot straight away. Okay, so hopefully I do this okay. I'm going to damage on this right-hand bat, and then hopefully I'll jump in time. He didn't let me jump.
Again,
okay, going up instead.
Video game.
Yeah, I had to go back up way there because I got hit.
Very good recovery. Beautifully done.
Now we're going for the best piece of ordnance in the game, I'm sure you would agree, Jimmy. Tails has a lot of ordnance, by the way. He's quite the war criminal.
Yeah, so mines and... Yeah.
You can't go up, you can't go down that water usually. It boosts you upwards, but because we took damage, we could fall down there.
Yeah. And again, not a glitch. We're very
coming up here as well. Oh. So here we've got to throw a remote bomb and then fly immediately, otherwise the remote bomb will go off the screen and won't explode. That went okay. And I want to get hit by the first and third mouse here, so that when I get down the bottom here, I can walk straight through the bat. He did not work. And then my bomb missed him. Okay, that's all right. And now we're going...
video game.
We actually only ever use this item like twice, but it's the napalm. And it's a shame that there's a bug in the game that equips Tails with... Like, if you've only got 3 items and you get an item for the Sea Fox, then that gets equipped to you. So I actually have the mine equipped on my 4th slot at the moment. But if you could use the napalm on this boss, it only takes 7 hits from the napalm before it dies. Unfortunately, there is a bug in the game, and it persists in the SMS version as well.
It does indeed. Yeah, this boss is a bastard because there's no real easy way to defeat him without taking a crud load of damage. You stay up above him using your flight abilities to start with, just drop bombs on his head, but his arm will inevitably hit you, or the bombs that he drops from the ceiling will inevitably hit you as well. And sometimes your throws can just go through his hitbox for whatever reason. This game can be a little bit unfair, but this is one of the bosses where if we could find a really straightforward, easy strat, we'd do it, but at the moment the best way to fight it is just play it normally. There's a couple of other bosses that we do going forward that we have slightly sneaky ways around it, but that one is very much a we'll just fight the bloody thing. Just fight the bloody thing. Yeah. And then we're going to go back to Tails' house and do a little bit of equipment changing. Bye-bye mine. Hello napalm. What a sentence to say in this day and age. Jesus Christ. Proper war crimes.
Oh, I was in the wrong spot.
Then we equip the anti-air missile. And that'll help us defeat a boss coming up shortly. So back to later.
I would use this boss to take a heap of damage, but because I haven't got my death warp set up, we're going to have to walk out anyway. So I'm just going to kill it the way that everybody else kills it. Kind of a funny boss, isn't it? Like it looks menacing, but it's not.
It's so stupid. If you get in the right spot, it cannot do anything to you. You will literally just mash the fire button and just sit there, so you can sit back and go, Cooey! Oh, look, it missed. Oh, look, it missed. Oh, look, it missed. Oh, that didn't miss, sadly.
I'm actually so used to taking damage here that I forgot where to sit.
Basically, just stay right underneath, and it takes like 30-something hits.
It's 48 hits.
How many, sorry?
48.
48. What ridiculous
Yeah.
is that bullshit? Yeah, lots of hits. Let's just say lots. Because everyone understands the word lots. And yeah, you can just stay right underneath, and all the trajectories of all these weird cylindrical bombs that are being thrown cannot hit you for toffee. They just can't hit you. And so you're just going, fine. And eventually it'll blow up exactly as it just did. Happy days. Those ducks are dead. They are turned into peking crispy duck with a little bit of hoisin sauce and some shredded spring onions. Delightful stuff.
Yeah, that sounds great.
Yeah, it does sound great. Yeah, but it's still too early in the... Oh, no, it's just gone midday here. Here we are, Green Forest. Green Island, sorry. We use napalm to destroy some walls. Oh, nice. So as I said a bit earlier, it's a little bit funky sometimes how many blocks that the explosives in this game destroy. Sometimes it's 1, sometimes it's 3, sometimes it's all 4. Which is very, very useful because it means you can only need to throw 1 bomb or 1 napalm. Again, sentencing is very, very strange. But yes, it's...
We'll use an item later on called the large bomb, and that applies to that bomb as well. And
really
there's actually a little trick we can do, but I'll mention that when we get there.
Nice. Normally, Squilibob would be taking a death warp here. However, he's not doing that. He's got too much health. That just gets you out. Now, for some reason, and I've never been able to repeat it, in this section of the game, that you can sometimes take damage and you can walk back to the map.
So I can tell you why that happens.
Oh, nice.
If you are near an enemy and there's a lot of space below you, and you're near the edge of something so you can grab onto it with tails, the game sort of locks you onto the where the ledge you're going to grab onto is, but because you just took damage, the game's minusing your Y position. And if you fall off the bottom of the map in any Map and Tails adventure, you get taken back to the world map. So that's why that happens. It happens on the very first screen of the game. It happens here in Green Island, and it can happen in the caverns as well. So I know exactly why that happened to you.
Wow. Well, now
did you
I know.
The beehive when it happened?
Yeah, it was exactly the beehive, yeah.
That's exactly the spot where that happens.
And knowing is half the battle.
Yeah.
G.I. Joe!
Okay, so now we're going to go through the scariest part of the game. We're going to Lake Crystal. I've already unlocked it, so we have full health. I need to lose health here, but we don't want to lose all our health.
Yeah, and that is Lake Crystal, not Crystal Lake. It is not Friday the 13th. Yeah, so we have the speed boost thing, which you can charge, and it's just a bit weird and finicky, and it allows you to jump higher. And sometimes it doesn't like playing ball because it's, again, based on you hold the button and then you let go, and hopefully you make the big jump, like
First try.
Perfectly. First try, amazing. Sometimes it doesn't want to do it, and it'll be just off by a couple of frames. And again, the problem with the game only registering frames on every other input, like most Game Gear games.
In the SMS version, is it a block lower? Because it looks a block lower to me.
It is a block
I haven't
lower.
investigated it.
It is indeed a block lower. There's a couple of things in the SMS fan patch which are different. One of them is when you are going through the tunnel and it's got the drop-in bombs on the first time through the tunnel, the underwater tunnel, excuse me, the drop-in bombs, it's not there. There's also a couple of block changes, and that's doing quite a lot of damage. I'm kind of concerned now.
Beautiful. Perfect. That was a really perfect.
Scary. Very scary. And now, even scarier, if you're afraid of the dark, we're in the dark. Sorry. And we have to navigate a couple of screens in essentially pitch black. You do have these little kind of fires in the walls that you can see a little bit, and it helps you kind of get a bit more of a gauge on where you are. But goodness me, it's still kind of scary because we are having to navigate, destroy blocks, destroy enemies in the dark. And as we get higher up, they're going to have to essentially create their own platforms in the dark using our bombs.
We can't fly here because of the downdraft, so we have to walk everywhere. And if we fall down, it wastes a lot of time.
But you can use the... Okay, right. You can certainly use the very generous ledge grab mechanic to support with that a little bit. As long as you are near a ledge and you can stand on it, then you just hold that direction and Tails will grab it, which can be a bit of a boon when it comes to situations like this. But we'd spent a bit of time considering how to best navigate this stage, because you can find an item that lights the stage up, which, is quite useful, but getting it takes a while. Now, of course, we want to try and go fast. We're speedrunners. That's the principle behind the hobby, So we ended up going, can we skip this? And then myself and Mendez, we went through the stage going, yep, you can. That sucks. So now, good jump there. Squilibob is jumping and turning and throwing bombs to climb up onto ledges that... Crikey O'Reilly are scary as hell. Yeah, beautiful. So he can essentially make his own platforms, and now he can send the remote robot through the gap in a wall that he's just made. A little lower, there we go. And go up past that bat into this little tunnel and grab another item. And this item is necessary to get through the rest of the game.
Oh,
the large bomb.
Ignore that. That didn't happen.
Oh, okay. Have to be careful now.
It's supposed to be glitchless, everyone.
Yeah, the game is very easy to glitch because
I have my split set up so that a split is an item, so I take my hand off the controller to split. So I can't do that usually, but I don't have my splits up, so... Whoops, wrong place. So this is the only backtracking in the game, I think. This is the only time we go backwards to revisit a spot or two, don't we?
Yes, I believe you are right. Cheeky Chunk raiding SEGATHON 5 with a viewer count of 5. It's like fate. Welcome, raiders. This is the SegaCrew presenting SEGATHON 5, our yearly celebration of all things Sega. This year, we are celebrating in a speedrun marathon. We have probably another 36 to 48 hours worth of speedruns ahead of you, and we are at the very, very start of this year's Sonic block. That's right, we have approximately 8 and a bit hours of Sonic/Sonic adjacent speedruns and goodies. We are playing, Squilibob here is playing / speedrunning Tales of Adventure for the Game Gear, ripping through it with only half the items collected and throwing bombs, napalms, etc, etc. Yeah, I forgot that socket was on there last night, excuse me. That was very early in the morning for me. I couldn't watch that because I do like Socket for multitude of reasons that I shan't get into now. But yeah, so lots of good games on the way over the next 36 to 48 hours. So stay a while, listen, give it a follow, do what you need. Good times had by all. We are currently revisiting this tunnel, being careful of the spikes. As always, spikes are bad for your health, but we're taking the lower route here with the large bomb. Which
trying to take as much damage as possible, so this bat is a very friendly bat. Thank you, little Mr. Bat.
What a bastard.
And we're coming up to that spot where I like to call the lava gambit. So what's going to happen is the lava tiles are on a different height to normal tiles. So if you put a bomb in the lava, it's going to bomb through the wall, and you'll get anywhere between 0, 1, 2, or even 3 blocks to just get destroyed here. So hopefully I'll get 3. Let's see how it goes. Yeah.
Nice. Very good work. And that took out lots then. Only took out 2 then. Again, it's the RNG of the bombs.
I need to take lava baths here. My health is way too high, so I'm going to intentionally walk through this lava. This boss is very laggy. I might not get the jump straight away, but once you're on his head, you can just stay on his head and duck down, and he will not hit you.
Yeah, there is a little position behind him where you can do that same as well. You will take 1 or 2 hits, I think, but it means that there's backups if you can't manage to find the right pixel to stay on the top of his head, and he blows up very, very quickly. This boss, we were concerned when we were routing this because we're thinking, God, it takes a lot of hits. He takes a lot of hits. What are we going to do? Turns out you can just hit his back and he goes down really, really quickly. Stupid. Why we didn't think of that in the first place, I don't know. But we managed it. And technically this is a little bit of backtracking, but only temporarily, so we can pick up the item that's hidden behind the wall where the large bomb can blow up, which we, of course, went past earlier. And dodge the bricks. There we go. And here it is. Drop the bomb, takes out none.
I'm on 1 HP, that's good.
1 HP is good. Is it going to blow? There we go, takes the last bits. And we get the rocket booter. That's right.
Booter.
The rocket booter, not booster. Another damage warp. Another death warp back to the main menu, back to the map. Fabulous. Using the preset password. And now we're back at Tails' house. We're changing the equipment. The mine, and the rocket booter, and the extra armor. Extra armor is super useful. It allows what could be a potentially dangerous section of the game. Absolute cinch. We just don't give a damn about it. And back into Lake Rocky, and we equip the extra armor, and we're invincible. This is essentially the invincibility box from all Sonic games, and it just lasts per screen. And you can trigger it indefinitely on every single screen as long as you are inside the Sea Fox underwater. So that's fun.
Okay, so I did talk before about turning around, and you can save a few frames on this screen by turning around just as you're going through the gap I'm about to explode with this mine. So hopefully I can do it, because if you get caught, you're actually losing time.
You can do it! See, no damage being taken here whatsoever, because they're all clinky, clinky, shiny, sparkly.
Beautiful.
Or smooth as anything. Now moonwalking through the water like a smooth war criminal, and again triggering the extra armor. Yeah, this section would be quite scary because there's a lot of mines in place, and we've got these cannons which do a fair amount of damage. They do a stupid amount of damage. Same thing with some mines being dropped as we're going forward into this section. You'll see some mine droppers very, very soon. I think probably a little bit too early. I might be a bit too early. I don't know. It's been a while since I played this game.
There's plenty of those mine droppers. They're everywhere in here now.
Yeah. Yeah, and the mine droppers do horrid amounts of damage. So
the devs
trying to
put all of
navigate
this in as a check to make sure that you've gotten all the items, because it's impossible to get through here without either the spark or this extra armor item.
And the spark is a really precise way of doing it, and it causes the screen to flash incessantly, which for pretty much everyone involved is not a pleasant situation. So it's one of the reasons why we routed it, avoiding the spark specifically, so that we didn't cause too much of an eye bleed for those people who wanted to watch it. Going very well so far, by the way, Chief, I must say.
I've been through here a few times.
Dropping mines nice and early. In a good position, dropping more mines and ramming into things, and it goes down very, very quick. Lovely. That section seems to have a pretty precise hitbox.
You have to bounce off the ceiling or you won't hurt it.
That's only a very small margin there. And then we're travelling up. Again, invincibility going, happy days, everyone. And jumping out, firing a rocket at the same time.
Now we're on Cocoa Island. So I'll explain the button mechanics here. There are these buttons that lower barriers, and either Tails or the remote robot can trigger them. So we're going to do a little trick where we put the button between the remote robot and Tails, and we call the robot, and it touches the button for us. So I don't have to do any part of that first stage.
That's not a glitch.
And it's not a glitch. Yes, we're allowing that in the category.
And that saves a chunky bit of time. Chunky bit of time.
Saves a lot of time, yeah.
That's probably the most recent big time. That is the most recent big time save that this game has found. Paul, it's not a glitch. It's an exploit. It's existing mechanics. You can't. It's existing mechanics, and you have to be really precise with this section here, because if the remote robot is even touching, like even by a pixel, the conveyor belts, then it will go back into walking mode. But it's quicker if you fly, because then you can go against the direction that the conveyor belts are running, and so that's like literally a couple of pixels in there that you can do that. It's very, very tight, but it's fun.
Again, we're going to do this glitch. I mean, the run one, so the run would be invalid even if we got world record.
Yes, not a glitch, an exploit. Oh, you're letting us down, squilibob.
You probably want to talk about this boss coming up, because he's very annoying.
Yeah, this boss is I'm trying to think of the best way to word it. He's okay. He's a bit of a pain in the butt, but you got to be kind of precise with your movements and your bomb throws and your jumps. It's probably best seen than explained, just out of principle, I guess. So this boss will capture you and go, I've got a giant beard, even though I'm a bird and shouldn't be able to grow facial hair. Ha ha ha. So you've now got these lasers from the top of the screen that like hitting you, and you've got spikes and a conveyor belt. Great throw there, absolutely majestic throw there, squilibob. And you have to be really accurate to get your bombs to destroy those destroyable blocks. But squilibob did it very easily. Happy days.
Hit by a laser, so that was bad.
I mean, the fact that you were able to get those basically 2 bombs is very, very good. And now you're going to be using the remote robot to navigate through this section of the game, go above with this conveniently placed rock.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, hit the button, travel back to Tails, and there is an exit to the left that will pop through. And that is that boss done.
We actually have to go back to our Tails' house, even though we have the rocket booter equipped. Mm-hmm. Otherwise, it won't let us fly, and I'm not sure why that is.
Seems like it's just a flag, you know. But this game is, you know, tenuous in what it actually wants you to do, and what it actually does is it's a bit of a pain sometimes. So now
I was tapping too fast.
So we going up to the battle fortress, and we are going to be flying. And this seems like a really dangerous section. Oh, it's a bullet hell game, you know, so you have to be really careful with your movements, make sure that you don't get hit by the enemy's bullets, make sure that you got the correct set of weapons equipped. Nope, you can literally just stay at the screen and hold right. No,
you don't even hold right. You hold you for a second, and then you're at maximum speed. I don't even have my controller in my hands. I'm reading the chat.
Yeah, it's funny. Kind of stupid how that was missed, but funny.
So this screen is a bit laggy. It's actually a lot harder to do than it looks. You sort of look like you're staying in the same spot, but you're actually fighting with the controls when you fire, because you've got to hold right. But if you hold right for too long, you'll actually like fishtail all over the place like this. But and I missed one.
That's right, it's easily done. When I'm doing this section, I try and use the wall to help me stay aligned with where I am. So I only press up and right when I'm basically hitting the collision with the wall, so I don't move. There are some where you can't do that though, so it's one of those things, but yeah.
Luckily, the missiles go through the geometry of the level.
Mm-hmm.
Where am I? I thought the stage was over. It was like miles over. Okay, I only have 20 HP, so should I go back and heal? Let's just go back and heal.
Yeah, it's what, like 5 seconds? Not even that, really. But now that you've been able to get to the battle fortress, you can use a normal movement on the world map to get here, instead of having to go through that flying section again. Being careful not to hit the spikes. Once again, spikes bad for your health. Going at that little top sneaky route there.
And again, we're going to be using that remote robot trick to hit this button.
Yes, trick.
Lots of time save.
Yes. Yeah, that is a significant time save. That little item that you see above there, that's a wrench, which you can... You're meant to get the wrench to complete the game, but only allowed us to get through this game a lot faster. And also save ourselves a load of items. So you can destroy those little things with the red and yellow lights. You can hit those with a wrench and open up certain gates, but we don't need to do that. So change the conveyor belts. That's what I meant to say. I know what I'm talking about. I am a video game commentator. Yeah.
Conveyor belts actually help us here. It's in one of the spots where they actually help. We have to wait for this guy to go past. We want to stay flying through this whole section because we don't want to jump in here. This sniper guy will shoot us if we go down in that gap.
Might be little bastards.
And again, we'll need the remote robot for most of the rest of the game, so let's change to that. You can get beside these barriers, but you're not allowed to push all the way through them. So I like to stand here to do this one. This is the last screen of the game before the two bosses. So I'll probably start explaining the two bosses. The first boss is the Sun Battle Cuckoo, well, Battle Lord Cuckoo the 16th, also known as Speedy. We're going to fight him for the second time. And yeah, Speedy! I wish we had that prepared, Jimmy. What were we doing? Anyway, he always takes the same path. So I use a strategy with the large bomb, and we put the bombs where he's going to be. And that way we get the same kill every time. There is a fast way to do it by following him around and taking damage, but I try and keep all my HP for the final boss.
Yeah, the final boss can be a little bit mean.
Do you go the bottom way here, or do you go up past this sniper guy? I think the bottom way is faster.
I think it is.
Oh, that guy didn't die. He usually gives me a ring.
Yeah, it's a bit of a butt. And again, navigating through these blocks, using Tails' weapons of mass destruction, jumping and gliding, flying. It's not gliding, it's using Tails to fly like a helicopter. And we're going to get the remote robot yet again.
This is a really hard one to get him into as well. I think yeah, that's better.
Yeah, really, again, pixel precise. If you get hit by these blue flashing lasers, you get sent back to Tails immediately. So, again, we want to make sure that doesn't happen because that will slow us down. It means we'll have to redo that entire little series of movements again. But we've unlocked that electric gate. And now we're going to throw another remote robot. We're going up this time. This little gate. And again, just get the last jump on to this button. And go back down. And now we're going to be basically navigating our way to the bosses.
Okay, so this is Speedy. We're going to put the bombs in his path. Oops, I want to be flying here. You actually go into this thing faster if you're flying there. There are 2 bombs here. Oh, that was early.
That's all right.
Okay, very good. Don't want to put the bomb down too early because it exploded like that first one did. So I need to be more patient. We have to wait for him this time. Okay, I can hit him 3 times here usually, so let's hope that happens. Beautiful. So we manipulated that perfectly. He should die right now. And we're up to the final boss. The final boss has 2 phases and a transition phase. On the first phase, he walks right and left on the right-hand side of the screen and throws bombs over to the left. So we want to stay near him in the middle. He'll do a transition phase where he shoots bombs. If he grabs us, he'll start draining our HP in that middle phase. So I do not want to be hit by him in that transition phase. I'm going to try and keep clear of him. Actually got hit there. I have to go back to the normal strategy. Okay, I don't want to get touched by him here.
Yeah, this bit's grim.
So Tails' X and Y position determines whether he'll stop in the center of the screen. Time will be coming up when he Tails starts flying after he dies. So it's coming up. That is time.
Boom. G.
I think that was about. How fast was that? That was about 40 minutes. I think was.
Yeah, that was under 41 for certain.
Thank you very much for the GGs and chat calls. Shine Gabriel, Black Doom, must include 3 to 25. Sonic Speedrun Community, Overkill. I like the ending theme. It's very Sonic-like, isn't it, with the medley?
Yes, very much so. And it's a very, very cute ending as well, with the flickies and Tails doing the cleaning and washing. It's just It's adorable. This game is adorable. There should be more games like this. Everyone calls Tales the Great Orange Hindrance. They're certainly not bloody wrong. But goodness me, this game has a lot of character and a lot of sweetness to it. Admittedly, they are using napalm and mines and rocket launchers.
No, we ignore the war crimes.
Yes. Ignore the war crimes, stay for the cuteness.
Exactly.
And it's definitely a genre that Sonic games haven't visited again. I think there is plenty of room within the game style and the genre that could benefit another version or a Knuckles version, for example, because we know that Knuckles has a lot more movement options in comparison to Sonic and Tails. So that could be easily implemented within a kind of a Metroidvania type of design. But just Tails being able to kind of have all of his items also really, really lends very well to that style. And this is a very, very early proto-Metroidvania. I mean, obviously it's not a Metroid game from like 94 or etc because I think it's a 95 release, but
yes.
For the modern type of Metroidvanias which takes that style, it's certainly one of the earliest versions that you're going to find. And it's full of character, it's full of charm. The graphics are far better than any Game Gear game has any right to be. The music is cute. The music is it's cute. Let's say cute. It's not the greatest soundtrack in Sonic history. It's very, very cute. It's a lot.
It seems to grow on you, this soundtrack. If you play the game enough, I actually didn't like it at first, but now I really like it.
No, fair enough. I'd say it grows on you like Thrush does, but that's not
yes.
what I have now. It's a lovely little game. It's pretty accessible. It's available on, I think, the Sonic Gems collection. I think it's also on Sonic Adventure. It's also going to be on Sonic Origins Plus. I think that's what it's called. The add-on to Sonic Origins that's coming out in a couple of months' time. It's going to be part of the Game Gear games that you can play on there as well. So it's going to be even more accessible very, very soon. But yeah, lovely game. Really lovely game. I would recommend people playing it casually, even if they don't want to speedrun it, but they're going to have a good time with it. So yeah.
So I'd like to shout out all the people who played the game, because I've watched all your runs, Jimmy included. So Mendez, Broken Hyperlink, Chest. So Chest is going to be running this game later this month on the 26th. And Jimmy's got a submission to play the SMS version of this game on SSG 2023, do you not?
I do indeed, yeah, and they haven't come up with the agreed list of it yet. But if that gets in, that's going to be hilarious, because it's going to be my first marathon run for way over a year. So good luck, everyone.
I'll be watching.
Nah, you'll be suffering. Sorry. Awesome.
So I'd like to thank SegaCrew for having me on, and I think Witherwin will be ready. I have informed Witherwin we might be underestimate. When I first submitted this, my PV was 54 minutes and now it's 39 minutes. That's why we're so far underestimate. But I think Witherwin's quite tired and wants to start early anyway. So thank you for having me, and let's move on to Sonic Adventure from Tails Adventure.
Let's get your applause in the chats for Squilibob.